again, far too early.
I couldn't think of one quick enough.
Do you know what's happening now? You see, and unfortunately, I'm gonna lift the curtain here ever so slightly, and give away my way of doing this. Um, I'm normally relatively strict about counting in the start of the recording, pressing the recording button. Mostly it was so that this lot were ready. You know, if they suddenly had a cough or anything else like that, I could make sure that I didn't press the button too quickly. What's now happening is I'm counting 3, 2, 1, and then actually waiting a good couple more seconds.
But now you've told us that, we can exploit it to our advantage.
I realise I might end up causing myself some problems, but
I love it.
It has been necessary because for the past 4 episodes, a certain someone within this group has been trying to interrupt the beginning of the sessions with a silly comment, which is fair enough, but I'm on to you. And I have my means and my ways around this. I am going to lead this lot of, reprobates, potentially is the right word, through the Abomination Vaults once more. I believe it must be episode 56 or 58. I'm not 100% certain. It'll be one of those two what we're up to now. And we are currently going through floor 4. This floor was the floor where they found the werewolf druid that had caused the town so many problems in the past. They then went to the corridors that didn't have any sense of direction or distance, within the middle of which was a bedroom and living chambers for, they assume Belcora. And after seeing a couple of ghosts in those areas, were then promptly attacked by a very strange creature, which they know was called a void glutton, but they know very little else about it. After fleeing that and heading back to town and taking a break and buying some equipment and arming themselves up with some slightly better weapons, they went back down into this level. They found a shrine, a proper full-blown temple, in fact, to Nimbleoth, which had some creepy crawly things all over it, as well as more apparitions and ghosts. They found some undead, which they dealt with. They found a demon, which they left alone and walked away from. And they've just fought 2 of the Scarthrax, of which they'd already faced one before in the graveyard, after it had been apparently beamed over from the Gauntlight, which might give people an idea of what the Gauntlight can actually do now. So if we start putting 2 and 2 together, you might have an idea. And they have proceeded to then head south out of within that cave area to find what now appears to be a kitchen. Not entirely sure how this all ties in, but this floor is definitely weird in comparison to some of the others. The library at the level above, which seemed really obvious, the servants' quarters, the floor above that, and then the ruins on the top, all kind of seem to make sense, but this one's a bit random, not least of which because there is a corridor which ends in a bright blue light. Just because. On the sort of very brief recap of what these guys are doing and what they've done, I have a question actually for you. What do you think this place actually does? Or what was it designed to do? What do you think Belcora was trying to achieve? See if any of you players, have any thoughts on that. I'm going to go for JJ first, because JJ I sometimes manages to put 2 and 2 together very quickly.
It's either it's a combination of things in my head. Obviously, we know Belcora is very much, as I said, followed Nimbleoth is very much obsessed with this with a god of death, out of planes type stuff, and generally likes things to be dead and wants more things to be dead. I think from other bits and pieces was rejected or something by the people of Absalom, or was rejected by some kind of institute in Absalom. So wants a degree of revenge, and there's a whole bunch there's leading into the necromancy thing there, and similar and aberrant creations because there's that lab up to the north. It strikes me that again, possibly looking for some form of extended unlife in there, possibly a massive sacrifice of the people of Absalom because revenge, and or some kind of adjustment to something to themselves. One assumes like lichdom would be the classic route, but that big fleshy wormy thing is more abominant. That thing keeps on coming back into my thoughts every single time we go another layer down. It's like that thing is still up there, and it was very much lab-like. I know that was for her drow lover, who we haven't found much more of a trace of yet, other than that little pocket portrait. So that bugs me. That we don't know kind of what happened to him or otherwise. But there's something going on with these. I can't quite put it all together, but I think the cause problems, mayhem, and abduct people. Something to do with that obsession with Nimbloth, with that extension of
Becky, any thoughts?
I don't think I have any alternative thoughts. There's definitely something to do with Nimbleoff. Maybe try. I don't know how the gods work in Pathfinder, but as I understand it, Nimbleoff wasn't like one of the major gods or something. It was like outside of. Is that right?
Yes, it's an outer god.
Yeah. So was Belcora trying to bring Nimbleoff more in line with the others? I don't know.
Okay. Inver, or actually Cass at this point.
So Kess, what is Belcora up to? So I think that she was trying to bargain with Nimbleoth in some way by providing rituals and sacrifice and the things that Nimbleoth would want in order to get something for herself in return. Now whether so beings that go to Nimbleoth just cease to exist. There is no afterlife. If you go to Nimbleoth, you just cease to be in the most fundamental way possible. So what I haven't quite put together is what Belcora might get out of that. Because most souls go to Pharasma. And that's fine. And they join the River of Souls and they go to Pharasma and then they go wherever they're supposed to be. So I guess trying to guard against the threat of ceasing to be for either herself or somebody she cared about, perhaps. But where did the threat come from in the first place is the bit I've not put together.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Invar is trying very hard not to look at it and think about it. Thank you, because Invar thinks that she was fine in a previous life, and that's why she got brought back as a Duskwalker. And now she's getting these flashbacks that she was part of the rituals for Belcora, and is just looking very hard the other way.
Having a
Nile is
crisis.
not just the river in Egypt.
Indeed.
Big pile of note.
Dave, do you have any extra thoughts on what potentially the Gauntlet actually does, or what it's used for, or
Thoughts? Well, clearly there's some big arcane or occult mechanism here, and we know it can send out bad stuff. Whether it can slurp up stuff as well, maybe it just like kind of lasers its way through Absalom and eats people's souls as an end game scenario.
It's more than fair, But you certainly clearly get the idea that it can send stuff out. I think potentially what wasn't mentioned last week, you kind of worryingly went looking for the third one, is there's a reasonable chance you already met the third one that was in here, as it was lobbed out at you via the gauntlet. So it does look like whatever is inside this place can be sent wherever the gauntlet can reach, and that is something for you to consider.
So what you're saying is we should take over this place, clean it out, and use the gauntlet to teleport heroes to do troubleshooting things all over the continent.
Let's bench that idea. It is certainly something for you to discuss. What you don't know is how it's activated yet. That may change your mind on the process, but we'll see. We'll see.
Quite possibly. But like all good hypotheses, it is subject to change as information changes.
Exactly. What we do know. Go on, JJ.
I was just going to say, I love the idea because then it's like we get a bunch of adventurers together, and by our powers combined, we yeet Captain Planet as opposed to we summon Captain Planet.
Oh dear. In either case, we will
beam them down from Skyvault, power extreme.
Yeah.
So, Neffy, you have opened up a secret door into what appears to be a kitchen of some description. And yes, you have found this secret door, which with a decent shove from this side just opened. There is a mechanism, as it happens. You do notice that there are some wires that go through the wall, or at least a fake part of the wall. And what you realise when you sort of peek round the other side is that there are actually some utensils hanging, or what look like utensils hanging from the side of the wall on the other side, but you think with the correct combination would effectively ping this door open so that it could be then slid open from the other side. So yes, there is a combination lock made with cooking utensils.
Have to play popcorn on it in the manner of the Swedish chef.
Very good hurt.
Okay.
It's it's a 15 by 15 foot chamber. There is a door in the eastern wall. After a reasonable amount of looking around, you do notice a couple of things. Firstly, now that you're close enough to it, and I'm assuming with a little bit of detect magic, you realise that the stove itself is magical.
Okay. Investigate the stove. Oh my god, does it make pies?
No, not quite. But what you do believe is effectively it's a very clever version of almost like an ever-burning torch, except this one gives out heat. So there is, and there's also what happens is the smoke that comes off of this thing dissipates very quickly into just perfectly clean normal air, even though there's no chimney, nothing else like that. This just seems to be like a constant usable stove. The downside is it's massive, it's heavy, and it's actually built into the stonework of the floor. So shifting it and moving it would be next to impossible.
What's the general condition of things in the kitchen? Are there any ingredients we would consider eating?
No,
there's all manky as manky.
Yeah,
stuff?
it's all manky and all bits and pieces. One thing that does vaguely interest you is that the corpse, the body, appears to have a knife in its hand, or at least would be right next to it. There is a certain amount of indication that whoever this poor individual was potentially took their own life.
Someone probably wanted them to do the washing up.
Okay. Can I listen at the door?
Yep, absolutely.
Pretty stuff.
You do not hear anything spirity stuff. Oh, the room next to you is full of spirits.
Oh, good.
Yay, Jin!
In fact, there's a lot of spiritual stuff, yeah, within 30 foot of you.
Cool.
Good.
And
Do we want to?
magical?
Detecting magic. Go on.
Do we want to make Moz less ill before we get too close to anything that might?
We probably should make Moz a bit less ill.
Would be appreciated. Generally not in the room proof against
How are we doing for healing magics?
I mean, I'm probably getting towards needing a rest for that.
So I've got a couple of first levels in me. I think I've got one first level in the wand and one first level in the staff.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's the point. What have I got at not first level? Oh no, I'm actually not too bad. I've got all my second level stuff left and half my first.
Right. So shall I drop the stuff from equipment on Moz? Because that means I don't have to fuff about getting a wand out mid-combat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll do one from the wand for 10, so for 11 for Moz.
Ooh.
And one from the staff for 16.
Ooh.
So that's my items flattened for today.
Mm-hmm.
I was as good as I can need to be to get, to be honest.
Right. Now, should we assess the threat in the next room? And if there's nothing in there that needs biffing, shall I get some lunch going?
I mean, this would be an ideal place for it.
So, the first thing I will say is, Nephi did say, is there anything magical? Obviously, you know about the stove, you worked that out. However, you do detect that there are other magical sources within 30 foot of you as well.
Ooh.
So that could be in here, that could be in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
She is itching to go into the next room, but she will do what everyone else says.
Well, I think we're in a reasonable condition now. So, and I'd rather know what's in the next room before, breaking out food and whatnot here. Because if something bursts in here while I'm making flatbreads,
Could be problematic. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. You've done all the listening, and I think everything else you can do.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting for the tanky one to come and join us.
I thought I was just holding a rearguard action. You and Invar have been taking the lead on this.
I went first last time and I didn't like it.
And I only went because she did, and somebody has to keep her alive.
Yeah, and as he's nodding, he just pushes open the door. Well, I suppose that looks an interesting place for a sit down.
Fuck.
Used to be a dining room.
Oh, I regret this. He steps in the room.
Okay.
Many ghosts.
A pair of brightly glowing chandeliers illuminate a long banquet table surrounded by luxurious high-backed chairs. The table is still set as if for a grand meal, but some of the place settings are scattered and toppled, as are a few of the chairs. 4 skeletons in tattered finery are scattered about the room, some of them clutching their necks.
Well,
as you step into the room, and I'm just going to move that, you notice a couple of things that happen. The first thing that happens is the 4 skeletons suddenly start to glow blue. In a very similar way to something that you've seen before in the upper floors, if you remember. So the mouth and the eyes start to get a blue glow coming up to them. The second thing that happens is those 4 skeletons start to stand up. And as
I'm standing on one, can I just make sure it's pop out the tip?
Well, what I'm going to say is because they are effectively prone, when we do get round to it, you are absolutely going to get your if you are before it, you will get your attack of opportunity, but it will entirely depend on your initiative. So we are going to pause very quickly. We're going to get initiatives from these guys, and then they're going to get into another fight. Just give me one moment. Okay, everybody, we are back, and therefore time for me to get the initiative off of these guys. I've done all of mine. We'll start with Inver, please.
18 plus 7 plus 1 for 26, please.
26, okay. Neffy.
That's 12 plus 9 plus 1, so 22.
22. Moz.
16 on the dice, plus 10 plus 2 gives me 28.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good going. Just as a note, did that take a hero point?
It did. It did. Before it was a 2.
Phelan?
18 on the dice, plus 12 plus 1 is 31.
31. Because Druid go fast. Okay. What we're going to do then is that is going to allow Phelan to go first.
Right. So these skeletons are glowing a bit blue and starting to assemble.
Yes, they are. They are.
So we'll call to Olerin to shoot through the door, and Om Nom Nom. Probably the skeleton in front of us.
Okay, yeah, that's not a problem. They are prone, so effectively they're flat-footed.
That means you take care of it.
I do indeed, yeah, I do.
Okay. 19 for bitings.
That is most definitely a hit.
For 14 piercing damage.
14 piercing damage is a pretty good start. That is a pretty good start.
Because he moved, that's all he gets.
Yep.
Looks like I can just about see the one that he attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just about see the one south of it.
Yep.
So let's throw the horns and bounce an electric arc between them.
Mm-hmm.
DC 20 basic reflex, please.
Basic reflex, DC 20. So the one next to Moz is going to roll a 4 and get all of a 14. And the one slightly higher is going to get a 23.
Okay.
Sorry, the one south is going to get a 23. So full damage for the one at the top and half damage for the one at the bottom.
Okay, the spell deals a total of 7 points of electricity damage.
Okay, so that's 7 points to the one at the top, and that will be 3 points to the one at the bottom.
Yep.
Okie dokie.
And that's me 3 for 3.
That's you 3 for 3. Moz, that makes it your turn.
I would like give this one a bashing.
Thought you might.
Is there any disadvantage to being on top of a table?
Technically no. I might ask for a little bit of an athletics check just to make sure you can jump the height of the table and get onto it.
Bench of the Skeleton's called Anakin.
This is true. This is true. We shall risk it for a biscuit and step. Or rather, not step.
He doesn't need to claim the high ground.
The Scots named the mountain
nerd.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. He no longer has to claim the high ground. He is the high ground.
Mm-hmm. Right. Make yourself a athletics check, please.
Oh, God, there we go. You do not let... it's a 10. That's not too bad. That's a natural 20.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. You almost just step onto it rather than jump, but it's a relatively simple thing, yeah.
Woohoo! And having sashayed, he will continue his deft movements and whirl the handbook around for a down strike on the one that has recently been struck by.
Okay.
And then realise that he's in entirely a bad position. But that's okay, because that's also a natural 20. Nice check.
So, we haven't had many episodes, and I will admit during the last one you weren't just rolling natural 20 after natural 20, but this is now 5 natural 20s in the last 3 episodes for you.
How many natural ones in the last one, though? At least one.
Yeah, okay. But that is going to be a critical hit.
Oh, come on, okay. 2 days. That's a 6 and a 7 plus 4 for 17 for 34 again.
34. You utterly destroy the corpse. Okay, but as that happens, instead, the blue light seems to emerge from the corpse. And that is most definitely not dead.
Nope.
That is most definitely still flitting around. So the body drops. Well, the body was already low down anyway, but this blue light emanates from the mouth and floats up into the air. You have seen these things before, so you vaguely might recognise what's happening at this point and what it's probably going to try and do.
The word corpse-like is bellowed by Mosron as he remembers that it's now going to go looking for another body that's in behind the squishy people. And having gleefully swung it down like some Bill and Ted's Grim Reaper, he's going to flip reverse it and swing the halberd back the other way and hopefully take a chunk out of this corpse life.
Okie dokie.
But it did not Melvin you.
GM's going to hate me.
Why? What did you roll? By any chance, is it another natural 20?
It is. I can't show. In fact, I'm going to take a photo. So just because and straight up.
Yeah. All right then.
Send that into the chat.
All right,
So,
go on then.
that dice is banned, I think.
Go on then. Roll your damage.
They do really, really well until they betray me utterly.
Yeah.
Like that, and I get 4 as a total on 2 dice. So
Yeah, but that's
4
then.
plus 4 makes for 8 for 16.
Yeah, and these things, when they're in this form, have 1 point of health. So the wisp itself just, it almost like it shatters. The light is just spread all over the place. That is your 3 actions, though, and thankfully at this point I then get to do something. So he says, and then realizes that I have to walk up to you, which is not going to be worth. So this one stands up next to you, You have a reaction, I believe. So, by all means, if you wish to take your reaction...
The GM is inviting me to do a thing.
It sounds like a trap.
But the last time I thought like this, the GM did me. So, therefore, you know what, why not?
I'm not entirely sure what I'm being accused of here.
5 plus 13 for 18.
18 is a hit.
Oh, shiny. In that case, then I would take 2. That's a 10 and a 5 for 15. Plus 4 for strength makes 19.
19 points of damage. Okay. So you take a chunk out of this body, however, it is still alive. So it stood up. You are right next to it. I can't do that. So I'm going to effectively try and swing my claws at you. 10 on the dice with a plus 10 is a 20. I do not believe that hits you.
We continue the theme of Mosron Sparrow as a swings the sword. He just pops.
Well, that was its claws. It doesn't have a weapon in hand. Yep. So it's going to try and swing the other one. Nope, that is going to completely miss as well. It is Inver's turn.
Dramatic.
I'm choosing between 2 things to do. I am going to cast Sepulchral Mask, so this is one of my focus spells.
Mm-hmm.
You manifest a supernatural funerary mask, granting a +1 status to will saving throws and against emotion effects for a minute. It forces your foe. Its somber countenance forces your foes to confront their regrets and sins. So each enemy in the area has 5 foot emanation. When you cast the spell or that starts a turn in the area, takes 1d4 mental damage with save. So actually, I'm probably going to move first.
Yep.
To there. Myself back now. Here. Thank you. There we go. Then I'm going to cast it.
Okay.
So that should.
That one there is already dead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the one that what I'll do, because there is a little skull icon on it, but it's very difficult to see, so I'll make any that are dead actually invisible and deal with it. So
okay. In that case,
probably
I'm
to here.
slightly closer harm's way than I like to do in general.
Yep.
Sure.
And then cast the spell.
Yep.
Okay, so just very quick, it is a will save. So I take the 1d4 straight away. That's an automatic thing. This isn't even a save for that, this is a save for other things.
No, you take half damage on success.
Okay, so... does it say that? Where does it say that?
In the...
Oh yes, in the actual criteria for the spell. Yeah.
I'll actually roll the dice into the box. There we go.
So my will save is only a +7. That's a 21 though.
So I rolled a 3, so you take 1.
1 point of damage, yeah.
Yep. Which is why it was going to be useful against the corpse lights.
Yes, it would be brilliant when these things are corpse lights as well, because that is going to happen.
Unfortunately, I just have to stand in the way for a bit.
Yep, I'm afraid so.
Is it a persisting spell?
Yeah, it's a minute.
Yeah. It's an emanation, you concentrate on it. Unfortunately, the downside with this, some of these ones do have the advantage that if you concentrate on it for an action, they get bigger. This one, unfortunately, doesn't appear to.
This is what I was weighing up, as I do have an area spell that doesn't do damage, but does increase in size and gives penalties instead.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the two I was debating
Yeah.
when my turn started. But that's me.
Okay, Neffy, it is your turn.
So Neffy can't see any of them at the moment.
No.
Goody. 5. Oops. And then she's gonna shoot that one.
Okay. It will have a little bonus to its armor class, but it's also on the floor, so technically it's got a negative to its armor class as well. So swings and roundabouts.
Okay, so that is 22.
That is a hit.
Has that one been?
That one has not been.
Cool. I roll an extra d6 then, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. And it'll take more damage when it starts its turn in the area.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Nice.
So that is 12 points of damage.
Okie dokie. You still have one action left.
Reload.
Reload. Fair enough. As it happens, it is not not that one's action yet. The one that's over the other far side of the room will stand up and will step over to Moz as its next action, and then we'll try and swing a claw at you for a 22.
Oh shit, that's my AC.
Yep, it is. Doing 10 points of slashing damage as it swings the claw. But that is all 3 of its actions. That leaves the one down here, which will stand up, which means its turn is now. So it'll do a will save. 20.
So that's gonna pass by 1. God damn it. For 1 halved and rounded down, I believe, to a minimum of 1.
1, yeah.
Point of damage.
1 point of damage. So it stands up. It's then going to swing a claw at Imber.
Yes, because I am suddenly a threat.
22 to hit
Yeah, that hits.
for 12 points of damage.
Ow!
And it will then try again. An 18 to hit. That will hit you.
Yes.
For 7 points of damage.
Ow! See, this is why I don't get stuck into fights.
That is all of its actions, and it is Phelan's turn.
Ah.
So we've got one active skeleton this side of the room,
Yes, correct.
and the other 2 are over the other side of the room.
That is also correct.
Okay. I'm going to tell Olerin to harass that skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And by harass, I mean
Bite.
try and destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
Bitey for 24 to hit.
That is a hit, yep.
For 8 points of piercing damage.
Okie dokie.
And then bitey for not really enough to do anything.
It's got a very low armor class.
8?
Okay, not that low. I will accept.
Sorry, 9.
9, no, still not going to work on that one. I'm afraid to say.
I am going to use an action to pick up a big chunky cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
And an action to start disarticulating that body.
Yeah, no, fine. I'm okay with that. I will go with that. You start disassembling and moving apart pieces of it, and yes.
Yeah, basically just wrecking its arms and legs. So if one of those corpse flames comes through, it goes, "Ooh, where's my arms gone?"
Yeah, no,
And
I'm good with that.
It flails around the floor.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Moz, that makes it your turn as the dwarf starts dismembering a corpse.
Yeah, makes sense. Moz will briefly regret, very momentarily, not taking a sweeping attack during the last chance he'd had for leveling up. But we'll shrug and will just take a big old swing at. He's already done harm to the northeast one?
To the north one, yeah, to the north of the two.
In that case, then yeah, he'll take a nice big swing down, high left, low right.
Okie dokie.
So 16 plus 13 for 29.
That's a critical hit.
Metal. Ding. 5 and 6 plus 4 gives me 15 points of damage.
And that's added to by virtue of the fact that you critically hit it. So that one becomes a small ball of light as the body drops to the floor.
And
Which we know that I can deal with should you wish to attack something with more hit points.
And he will realise this, possibly from some kind of strange conversation I had previously. And we'll stab the other one instead. Whatever he was planning on doing for a run there.
Okie dokie.
Change up. And completely cock it up, apparently, by being distracted. With a natural 2.
You still have a
Hit
third
the
action.
extremes.
I do, and technically, because it was a miss, exacting strike means I'm on the same dice roll.
Yes, it does.
So I might as well. That's an 11 plus numbers. 8. So 19.
That is a hit.
So 6 and 5 for 11.
11 points of damage to the one that was uninjured, but that is definitely taking a chunk out of it. Okay, it is my little corpse light's turn.
My little corpse light.
And it begins to float towards this door. Do you wish to do anything about its movement, JJ?
Oh, hell yes! That thing's getting whacked in the back of the head. Nope. With a 15 plus 13 for 28.
Yeah, that's a critical hit.
Not that it needs to be, but how waft is it? It was waft for 20 points.
Is that
Oh,
what you
God.
rolled?
No,
Or is that
10 on the dice.
10 on the-
doubled.
Okay, that is still enough to kill that one.
No.
Okay, that is all of its actions because it doesn't get to go over there and do anything. Inver, it is your turn.
I am casting a 3-action heal because that is an area effect and there are undead in range.
Yes, there are. Okay, so first
They
thing,
haven't. Yeah.
roll your 2d8 or whatever it is because it's a level 3, I believe. Level 2, I believe you're casting.
I'm going to cast it as level 2. Say yes. So that is 2d8. Do I roll it individually for everything, or?
No, so you roll it, everything gets affected by exactly the same number. It's just then whether or not my saving throws reduce that or not.
7 and 7 for 14. So I get 14 hit points back, and I don't go over there.
No, I was going to say, I'm
Oh.
not entirely sure why you did that.
Does that
14.
mean I also get 14?
It means that you also get 14. It means that Phelan would get 14. It means that Moss
Ollerin
gets
gets
14.
Everybody gets 14.
Everybody gets 14. Now the next question is, how much damage do my guys take? Now my DC for this is 19, and it's a Fortitude save. Oh, good. My wonderful Fortitude. So the one to the south is... Okay, that's a 19 on the dice with a +5 for a 24, so I will take half. So still take 7 points of damage. That takes a chunk out of that one. The one next to Mosran rolls a 2. So with my +5, that's a 7. So that is a critical failure. So I will take 28 points of damage.
Explode?
It does not explode. It is still standing in its current skeletal form, But to be fair, Moz, it does look like now all you're fighting is a pair of legs and a spine with a skull on the top. Most of what it was just got blown against the back wall by a ball of positive energy. That's quite effective. That worked quite well.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm still next to the one that is mostly healthy, but we can do it again next time.
It is Neffy's turn, in fact.
Come and be a distraction.
Isn't that the entirety of my being?
Do it
Being
better.
a distraction and stealing pies.
Yes, the stealing pies is important.
I will shoot this one.
Okie dokie.
That is maths 20.
20 is a hit. 2d6 damage.
Oh, good God. That's 2 points of damage.
Okay, it is still standing.
Yeah, I reload.
Uh-huh.
Dirty 20 to...
That's
hit.
gonna hit.
Oh my good God. 2 points of damage.
Well, if it helps at all, that one does turn into a small ball of light.
Oh, okay. That does help. That does make me feel just a
Oh,
tiny bit
hang
better
on,
about myself.
Oh no, but it hasn't had its turn yet.
Yeah, but it's now its turn.
It'll go pop.
It will potentially go pop unless I get a critical success, at which point it will take
That's
no
true.
damage. I get a +7 to my will. I believe the DC is 19, so the only
Yep.
way I can get a critical success is with a natural 20.
Okay.
JJ, don't roll this.
That's a 5 on the dice. That is a fail. I will take the full amount of damage, which is how much?
4.
4 points damage. That corpse light is no more. Okay, that is its action. It is now one remaining corpse light to go. And it is going to try and deal some damage to Mosran because you're right in front of it and it's not got a lot of health left. What remains of its limbs start flailing side by side and sort of it's trying to almost windmill attack you because that's the best it can do.
Warning, warning, my hooks are flailing.
However, that is a natural 20.
Oh,
So, it's a minimum. So 14 points of damage because I rolled a 1. Second attack, a 7 on the dice with a +6 is not going to hit you. We're shooting for another natural 20. That's another natural 20.
Payback.
Any of this being piercing damage?
It's another 1 on the dice for another 14 points of damage.
1 to get 14.
That's after doubling. That's
I know.
after the doubling, which I would be getting. So, what I will do, actually, let me just check something. The Joseph is +2, 22. Yes, it would be a hit, so it would be a crit. That's fine. Cool. Almost got into a position there where a natural 20 would have only been a hit. But not quite. With a +2, because it's claws, that becomes a 22, which would be a hit, and the 20 takes it to a crit. But if I had a +1, I'd have only got 21, which would have been a miss, and the 20 would have only have pushed it into a hit. So, yeah, we're getting to that stage with some low-level creatures that they can't even crit you anymore, even with a natural 20. Okay, that's its 3 actions. It is now Phelan's turn.
It's having me off at the ankles.
Okay, wander over to the doorway. Go on, Olerin. Go rag it. Olerin zooms under the table.
Under the table, yeah, cool.
And gets a mighty 17 to hit.
That is exactly a hit on these things.
for 18 points of piercing damage with his
Okay.
mighty teeths.
He rags apart the undead creature and leaves just a small glowing ball of light left in the sky.
I don't suppose that changed Corpus's move.
No.
And I am going to not do very much because
Fair.
there's not an awful lot I can do.
Yeah.
With one whole action.
That's more than fair. It is Mosran's turn. I can imagine this is only going to go one way anyway. So go on. It's got 1 hit point left.
You watch me roll everything under 5.
I think even a 5 you'll hit.
That's a 19. I think I got it.
Plus 23, plus 23, plus 13.
Gives us 24.
No, it doesn't.
I got it right. That's the other way.
Gives you 32. And that is absolutely a critical hit on this 1 hit point remaining corpse light.
Monsters just seem to go, boom, the body go down, the blue flame, lift up, he's just gone, ha
And it just sort of parts like an orb of water and sloshes to the ground.
For 18 points of damage, there's a Pac-Man noise.
Oh dear. That is the end of these things in here. There are no more of them. We will change the music. I will award this lot their hard-earned experience for dealing with 4 creatures which are multiple levels lower than they are.
Multiple levels lower.
Some of these fights have been like really, really, really difficult, unnecessarily difficult, and then this one comes up.
Yes, yeah. Every now and again they give you something nice and light-hearted.
Look at the doors! So
Yes.
many doors!
You are surrounded by a chamber which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 doors. 8 if you include the one you came out of. I believe.
And how many if
single
we
one.
look for secrets?
It's like cats and catnip.
I will say this much. After a relatively detailed search of the room, you do not find any additional secret doors. This is the actual number of doors for this room. There are no additionals. However, you also discover a couple of items. You find 48 gold pieces amongst the various bodies and corpses and things like that.
Ching.
And then, in addition to that, along with, doing the various bits and pieces that you do to work out if something is magical or not, you find a bracelet and an arrow which give off magical auras.
Ooh.
So we'll do the very brief and quick things that you can do with that, and I'll see if any of you can identify it. So we'll start with the braces, or the bracelet. Sorry. Okay, I mean, when I can see 19s and 18s on the dice, and I'm pretty certain that that is the target number. Yes, it is. I don't even really need to care what the bonuses you guys get are. So the first thing that you discover is a bracelet of dashing. It's this jangling silver bracelet makes you lighter on your feet, giving you a +1 bonus to acrobatics checks. Once per day, you can activate the bracelet. This is as long as you attune yourself to it, or the equivalent in this, invest, I think. I can't remember. Once per day, you can activate the bracelet, and it gives you an additional 10 foot of movement speed for 1 minute.
Ooh.
Okay, so always gives you +1 to your acrobatics, and gives you a 10 foot movement speed boost. As for the arrow, again, I can see a high enough roll on the dice. I don't really need to check what the bonuses is. This is a single arrow, just the one, but it's something known as a viper arrow. You spend one action to command the arrow. The shaft of the arrow is covered in fine green scales, and its iron head comes to a pair of pointed points almost like fangs. After an activated viper arrow hits a target, the arrow transforms into a viper. The target is affected by the viper's poison, or as if it has been bitten. The viper then lands in an open space adjacent to the target. The viper becomes a summoned creature that the person that fired can then control, as if it was a sustained spell.
Paging Thulsa.
It's actually, to be fair, it's under the GM's control, but will always strike. Will generally attack the creature that the arrow struck. It then vanishes after 1 minute or when slain. So, I am going to drop these into your loot bag with the standard caveat that I would like those things distributed to players so that they are being properly carried and all the rest of it. I don't mind too much with the gold, but I do mind with the looted items. Now, I do realise one thing that you did say that you were going to do, which was potentially now take a rest and all the rest of it, but you're in a chamber with 7 unexplored doors.
No, we're not doing it there.
What was is going
We're
to
going
carefully
back
point to the
in here.
northwest door and say there is at least one body up there before we go much further.
Yeah.
Because that's where one of the corpse items is going, so we need to be aware of that. There's more bodies around here.
Right. Are we kicking these open, or am I cooking?
Cook up.
Cooking.
Food, rest.
Right.
Not
Okay.
Jesus, dogs.
And where are
They
you?
had the keywords
Where are you? Where are you resting?
in
Back
the
in the cook's up.
kitchen.
Yeah. Would someone mind taking these bits of corpse? Probably.
Yeah.
You know, just chuck
We'll,
them up there. Somewhere.
We'll just chuck them in the room with the other corpses.
We have been going for an hour. It's our normal cut-off for doing this. It's also getting to about 10:30. So I think we are going to leave that there. You guys are ebbing ever so slowly towards level 5. I would suggest you might want to start thinking about what your level 5 characters are going to look like. Just in case. Just in case there is anything else around here which might give you the amount of experience that you might need.
Fireball.
But yes,
I have a feeling I've already done that.
well, yeah,
Why?
I assume most of you have probably planned out level 5, but just so that I can, just so you can send it to me, so that just in case I can have something ready at the side for swapping you into that correct mode. Thank you for everybody that is watching these and subscribing to us still. We do massively appreciate it. I think 134 the last time I checked. So yeah, not too bad at all. We really do appreciate it if you share and let other people see and know and hear and so on and so forth. I am already well aware that through no real action on my part, I've converted one GM to swap to Pathfinder 2e, so I do appreciate...
Darkside has cookies!
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure with the dark side, but okay. Saying nothing about Wizards of the Coast.
Or whether we have cookies for
Or
that.
whether we have cookies, indeed. So yeah, say goodnight, players.
Good night,
Good
players.
night,
Good night, players.
Okay, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye for now.